Greetings. This is Grandmaster Amin Ra coming to you live from Kenya, where today I'm moving my microphone to a different location. Okay, greetings. I'm Grandmaster Amin Ra from Los Angeles, California, and now here in where I've spent the last 21 years doing research and living in Mombasa, Kenya, which is now my hopefully permanent home. You never know where your final place to go. So many opportunities going around. We're thinking of moving. And then I've got some news. I may even surprised. I may even be traveling back to the U.S. I know they're not going to let me come back to Kenya once I get there, but we'll see. So this is my new channel for some people that are seeing it for the first time. It's not actually new. This channel is over 11 years old. I mean, you can go back and see videos here from 11 years ago. But just goes to attest to the fact that I knew somehow that we were going to get to a stage where people were going to be more interested in coming to Africa because I saw Africa developing. And sure enough, that came true. The fact that I knew back in 1986 that I had to travel to Africa in order to get the proper perspective, I knew. So in 2005, I published a book, wrote a book and published it. And the name of the book was Black Man's Guide to Moving, Living, and Doing Business in Kenya. And that was in 2004, 2005. So where a lot of these guys that have channels today are, they're far behind what I was doing over 10 years ago. So when I talk, I'm not talking from the back of my neck. I'm talking from an actual perspective of someone who's been on the ground with this for many years. The title of our show today is, as you can read it, it's about Kenya versus Ghana. Which country is the best for blacks to come to? Now, this is a touchy subject, and I know I got some Ghanaian guys in here that's going to be on my neck. I've done my extra research today, and I'm ready for that. Let's try to be civil. Let's not be too hating in the comments. Ghana is a good country. I'm not saying that Ghana is not a good country. We're comparing Ghana versus Kenya, and one of the main things that blacks have to decide is which country are they going to visit. And it's for sure Ghana has been doing a big push on getting African Americans to try to go to Ghana as their homeland and then the way to do business. Now I don't know if they're trying to catch a big fish in a big pond or in a small pond, or fish in a big pond to look for small fish, or I don't know which one they're doing, because African Americans, as we know. So what would possess the Ghanaian government and the president to come over and promote, back to, an Africa movement, year of return, when they know economically, technically, blacks don't have that much money. So I don't know, what goes on behind that. And for sure, the majority of African Americans are moving to Ghana. And a lot of them are going back, silently and quietly. That's the case. And the same way as Ghana is very popular, Kenya is not that well known amongst people because they don't have a giant push for blacks to come to Kenya. They're more open towards, the basic standard tourism guide, come to Kenya, everybody, So with that being said, you can't walk around Nairobi, or if I walk around Nairobi, I'm an item. You know what I'm saying? I'm unique. But if I'm Black American in Accra, I'm not unique. They're all over the place walking around. Some doing small businesses here and there. So today I want to talk about Ghana versus Kenya, but I'm not going to do it from the perspective of, okay, Kenya got this, Uganda got that. No, I'm not going to do that. Okay. So as you're watching this video, some of you already got your game face on. Some of you Ghanaians lovers out there got your game face on. Okay, put it off. Okay, Ghana. Talk highly of Kenya. I'm here to give you a clear and honest assessment and perspective for you Black Americans who haven't made a choice yet to think about when you decide to make your choice. Now, I have been on the channels before and talking about Ghana, and my main themes are basically two, which is Ghana is too small, and Ghana is surrounded by Franco countries, as they call them. Now, that's been the main points of me talking about Ghana. Now, it's how people can get there and start twisting that around. Oh, you know, Ghana is, how dare you talk bad about Ghana? What the hell did I say that wasn't true? It's a small country. Okay, some people now, the other day, somebody said, it's not that small, it's big. I'm like, okay, come on. All right? Anybody can go look at the population, look at the size of the country, and see that it's not a big country. Not big economically, and definitely not big in size. And because it lacks the size, it lacks opportunity. Now, Kenya is not all that big in itself. You know, it's like, you know, okay, it's almost 3 times the size of Ghana, but it's smaller than South Africa and Nigeria and Sudan and Tanzania, all about the actual geographical size as opposed to, you know, the actual space that it holds. And I started on this issue because I was seeing a lot of Blacks going to Ghana mindlessly. They're not doing any research. They're just saying, "Oh, where are the Blacks at? They in Ghana. Ooh, let me go." And they're not doing due diligence, serious due diligence. And I mean, how could they really know? You know, they figure that if I go to Ghana, Blacks are there, so anything happen, I got Blacks. But it's a funny way. People act funny when they're away from home. See, people when they get to the United States and they're trying to survive. You know, they turn on that survival. Oh, I can't give you this much money. Oh no, you see, because the capitalistic system, you know, it's dog eat dog. So rat race. So this is something that we have to look at. Now, hey, what's up, man? What's up? Oh, my favorite viewer. What's up? Okay. So we have to look at certain things when we start talking about a country. And here's where I'm talking about comparison Kenya with Ghana. Okay, I'm not going to go here and say Ghana got this and Kenya got this and Ghana got that. I want to talk about what is important for Black people in America to know when they're choosing which country to go to. Now, I don't see, oh, you got this many people, they got this kind of business. No. Like I said, I did this research way back in 2010, 11. And, you know, I couldn't understand why people were not coming to Kenya as opposed to going to Ghana. But it was, later I figured out the reason. And I had a guy, a Black American who was in Accra. I called him on the phone, interviewed him. And the discussion went so well that the guy decided to fly into Kenya on my invitation. And he came, I hosted him, and he gave me a lot of information about what was going on in the ground in Accra, where he was working for a, oh man, I've not heard the word, not a charity, but an NGO. And when he came to Kenya, he was, you know, on the verge of shock, because he didn't see it like that. And in fact, the way he was living in Ghana, it was a big surprise to him that there was actually you know, more development. And he was only in Mombasa. He was only in the second city. He had not even gone to Nairobi, when we did the basic interview. So this is what made me come to the conclusion that Ghana is small, because Accra is about half the size of Mombasa, and Mombasa is the second largest city in Kenya. Now, because I know Mombasa well, I can see about how much business opportunities are within that little area, and then you cut that in half, and then you see Ghana has a problem. You know, they can try to hide that problem, but the fact of the matter is, there's not a lot of business opportunities, especially in a higher income bracket areas. Now, the major business in Ghana is agribusiness, as they call it. Agribusiness is the number one business in Ghana. Well, agribusiness is just agriculture, which is just farming, and they don't know why they don't like the word farm there. Most of the people that deal with basic food and selling food or dealing with food. Now, the food industry has a lot of offsite businesses. It has transport. It has cooking products that have to be bought because you're dealing in food. You have the cooking utensils area where you have to sell, pots, pans, gas cooking, things like that, as well as energy. So agribusiness is not a joke. There are a lot of businesses, and it can be big business. Well, in fact, I kind of take that back. It can't really be that big a business, simply because people only have one stomach. You see. Now I'm giving you inside information here. So agriculture can't really grow beyond the food people actually eat. So agriculture definitely depends on the number of people you have in your country. Let that sink in now. If you're going to deal in the business of agriculture, a person's not going to overeat, especially Africans. They don't overeat. So once they're full, that's the amount of money they spend on food that day. Everybody got to eat, so the population is big. So, now when it comes down to buy a variety of different foods, okay, they got a limited number of choices. So this also helps the population. Because newsflash, think about it, fast food kills agribusiness. I'll say that again. Put up fast foods, potatoes, a couple chickens, little beef here and there. That kills agribusiness. All your fruits, your bananas, your vegetables, all that is competing against fast food because you only got one stomach. So the person eats fast food, they're not gonna jump around and go back. Let me go get some vegetables and some, make them now. No, it's either one or the other. So that industry, agribusiness is actually, especially when you're talking about Accra, is going to be fighting for supremacy, especially if the population starts getting money. You understand what I'm saying? A lot of people are in the lower part of the echelon when it comes to having money in Ghana, and I'm talking about the modern Ghana, and they can survive off what they sell if they're in agribusiness. I mean, if you're in agribusiness, you selling, you got a fruit stand and you selling fruits and vegetables. If you can just eat your product. You know what I mean? You can get high on your own supply. So it's not like you're gonna go hungry, and that's a basic thing. So a lot of reasons for Ghana having agribusiness as its number one selling product, and that's basically because the country is not developed enough. Okay, and whereas Kenya is very much developed, and there's a show Dynas Emir did. He even said it. We did a show with Dynas. He even started off the show, saying he had been to Kenya and he's more developed than West Africa in general. And that's what I'm trying to say. That you want to go, if it's your first visit to Africa, you want to go to a country that's developed. You don't want to go to a country that's still developing. Now, I understand that the IMF, I don't know what the hell they was thinking of the other day. They said that Ghana was now a middle income country. I read the story, but I didn't understand it because it didn't have any statistics. It's just like they just said that it's now a middle income country. And that left a lot to be desired. You know what I mean? Because what does the standard you basically use for being in a middle income country? And this is where where I'm wondering that if there are not forces in play to have Black Americans start coming to only Ghana or mainly to Ghana. And we know how America has treated us, and we know how the little slide steps they do to push us from going from one place that can really benefit us to another place which is not going to be of that much benefit to us. So I wonder. Now I'm talking about the agribusiness in Ghana, but I want to point out something else which I talked about briefly, was about the population. The size of your population matters. Now, the population growth in Ghana is 2.2%. 2.2. The population growth percentage in Kenya is 2.6. Now, I was kind of surprised. I thought it would be higher, but Kenya's a large country, so anything can be told like that. But definitely, the population growth in Kenya, I have to say, is larger than what I have seen in Ghana. And I have watched several videos and did the walking tour videos of Ghana and looked at the streets of Ghana, then turned around and put the ones on for Nairobi, right? And we looked at it and saw that Kenya is far more people busy in the streets than what was happening in Ghana. But there again, there are a lot more opportunities for business going on in Kenya. That's what caused all these many thousands of people walking through the streets. And where Ghana was more laid back, the streets were basically empty. There were not many people walking around on the roads like that. So look at the nightlife, and you can get to tell a lot about a country by the nightlife. And you can do your own research and see. Obviously, Kenya has a really great nightlife compared to that of Ghana. It just has more places. It's more, clubs and activities going on in the evening than Ghana could possibly even come close to. Now, to put this into perspective, you can't grow a business beyond the population growth, because everybody, who's going to give you money? It's got to be the population. So if the population growth is good and strong, then you're going to get more business. That's obvious. Now, Kenya's population has doubled in the last 25 years. There was too many conflicting reports on Ghana's population. Some even say it didn't move anywhere, and others said it grew by 10% and that. But definitely, Kenya's population is growing high, and from what I can see, Ghana's population is also moving up pretty well. So if you open up a business and then 5 years down the line, the population grows in your area, they may build up another apartment building or what like that, then you have more customers in your area. So I'm talking about that later. But Ghana's population growth is 2.2, Kenya's is 2.6. And to put this in perspective, the United States population growth is 0.7. So if you think about opening a business in the U.S., then you're joking, because the Black population growth in America, from what I'm told, they say is 1.3%. So Kenya definitely has a higher population growth than out of those four. And this is what I've been saying, like if you want to open a business in Black, because there's no more Black community. So you open up a business, a Black area, neighborhood where you live, you got to depend on other groups to give you money. You got to hope the Mexicans are going to come in there. You can hope the Asians ain't going to never come to your business, and whites ain't going to never come to your business. So you better hope that you can get some Mexicans to help you, run that business. So, because I'm getting calls. I'm going to get some. Blacks, as long as Blacks come to Africa, I don't care what country they settle in. You need to care, because you can't just settle in a country. What you gonna do? You gotta eat. You gotta make money. You're gonna start a family. or you grow a family, you're gonna have to have money. You know, I don't see any other way around it. If you're gonna move to a modern life, you're gonna have to find a way to make money. You know, sooner or later, somehow. Unless you're retired. Now, if you're retired on a pension, then you come to Africa and get your pension money coming in, boom. You know, Ghana, Kenya, it really doesn't make any difference unless you really active and you want to go see, you know, wildlife, which is only you're gonna find in Kenya, or you want to go to different types of eating establishments, you're gonna find 5 times more eating establishments in Kenya. You see, or if you like to travel, you know, traveling in Kenya is great now. You got the high-speed railway, you know, like that. But there's 2 areas that I'm discussing tonight, and that is the fact that wherever you settle, if you're going to start having a business or doing any kind of transactions, you're going to need to have 1, the population growth, and 2, you're going to have the ability to transfer money. And that's what I want to talk about next. In the mobile phone arena, mobile banking is the #1 business company in Kenya. In fact, out of the top 10 businesses in Kenya, like 4 of them are banks. And the #1 business in Kenya is Safaricom, which is got to the #1 spot because of M-Pesa and money transfer, which is a money transfer system. Or to keep you guys understanding it, it is a cryptocurrency. Nobody says that but me. But if you look at it, nobody has been able to, you know, crack my argument that M-Pesa is just cryptocurrency, money without the coins. So what made M-Pesa so popular in Kenya is that they came up with a system. It was also slow at first, but then they came up with a system that empowered the agents, the local agents. From there, they just went off, you know, it just boomed. Because banks were trying to control the agents part of it, and then that didn't work. So this is the same problem with Ghana, because the mobile reach in Ghana is 30. I mean, for the mobile phone reach in Ghana is 36%. The mobile phone reach in Kenya is 72%. Now, 73% of Kenyans deal in mobile banking, and compared to 36% of Ghanaians dealing in mobile banking. Now, I mean, what is that? That's nothing. Why is that important? It's because you have to understand, as far as doing business, as far as doing transfer of, you can multiply that into more money. I don't know how I can say it like that, especially people that have different streams of income. You know, and I wanted to do a video on this, but I don't want to sidetrack. Now, coming into money banking, countries are really prospering. African countries especially are really prospering because the majority of the population, not like in Europe and in the United States, most of the population has that kind of connectivity where they can transfer money back and forth on their phone and then share that with neighbors and friends, you see. Where in the United States, the population is more separated. You know, you're in your car and you go into where your destination is, you get out of your car and then you go into your establishment. But in Africa, you know, it's like you're walking down the street and you could have 5 or 6 people you know that you could do business with, and you can transfer it right there, make the deals right there, and then transfer money to them very quickly. Now, money banking, like I said, is the #1 business basically in Kenya, and banking in general has really moved up because of the M-Pesa reach. And for those of you that don't know about M-Pesa, see my video that I did on M-Pesa. So I got a couple of thingies here. So this is because and you can look at where I'm getting my information from. This is also online. I think you just Google this one, and you can see this percentage here. And it's showing Ghana here. It's reached from 2014 and 2017 when they did the last statistics. And then you can see Kenya here. And this reach is because of M-Pesa, basically, and data bundles as well, data management. So don't get, when you get ready to attack me, this is what I'm going by. So don't attack me like I'm in hates Ghana, because that's what you always got to start off with. He hates Ghana. That's why he's talking shit about Ghana. No, I'm not talking shit about Ghana. I'm saying Kenya is a better option for your first visit to Africa than Ghana. Okay? Now I'm saying this because of my own two eyes, and then why the hell would I be telling you something like I'm suffering here and I don't, I want you to come suffer with me? I mean, how many people gonna come here and before they're gonna realize I've been lied to us, Ghana's better. I went to Kenya and ABC happened to me and there was no jobs and it was, that's not true. I'm giving you, there is jobs, there is opportunity here. And from my research, there's far more opportunity than in Ghana. So that's why I'm here talking about this today, because I've seen some of my followers out there appreciate what I'm doing and they really learn from what I'm saying. So here I am, I'm giving you the best information possible from on the ground. And all I'm asking is that here you go, the paper that people have hate, is that you support the channel. They don't give us super chat in Africa. So we all have to go to this way. Now this is the way we're using it. Now yesterday, Richard sent in money, and while the show was going on, I was able to announce that he had supported the channel. So that's why I say Western Union is very quick. Make sure you put this name as the contact, spell it correctly, because people had sent money before on a different system than Western Union, and they got the name, they spelled the name wrong, and then those people were like, no, we don't help. We can't help you. So also I was saying that here is, this is the paper that I created back in 2010, 2015, I don't know, when I did the research, and Ghana versus Kenya. And I didn't get a lot of flack, because people saw that I had done the research and they really couldn't dispute these points. But if you're going to do any kind of business in Africa, in an African country, you really need the money transfer. Part of it has to be very important. Now, I did a video on M-Pesa, and I wish you guys get a chance to go down and look at it, because I'm trying to explain to you that when you come here, even if you retire, you're going to want to have to get your money. Now, every month you're going to have to go into the bank and then stand in the line and then walk up to the teller and, tell her you want this amount of money. Or you got to check your bank account and see if they had transferred the money each time. No. Mobile banking and M-Pesa texts your phone when the money is there. You see? And when you get your money and you want to say you want to pay your rent, you just text it. You get the money now. You dial in the code for your rent, and then you transfer the money directly to your landlord. You know what I'm saying? This is the beauty of it. And then you get a statement every month to your email showing you every transaction you made. So there's no missteps or any kind of confusion unless you dial the wrong code for the account number. But they got a system now in place that if you make a mistake, you can reverse it. So there's really no reason for you to make a mistake if you can't read to say that the money was transferred to this name, If it's not that name, you press a button and it's there. You can transaction cancel, start all over again. I've done it several times. So that's even if you're retired. So if you have a business, let's say you open up a business and you open up a shop, and then your business is going well and you want to open up a second shop. So you can't be at two places at a time, and you got to have people that's running those shops, and you have to pay them. You see? So over 100% of the population got mobile phone, and I say like everybody got M-Pesa, especially if they're working. So you can just transfer the money to their account. Transfer the money to their account when it comes time to, do your accounting or do your payroll. And so you can do 3 companies, you see, without having to worry about accounting for where the money, how to get the money to the person. The same way with your business. You got a second business somewhere far, and every night you can tell your employee at the end of the night, M-Pesa me the money that the shop made. You see, and then they keep a ledger of the goods and services that they provided. You see, so you can actually relax and expand your business because you got less effort that you have to put into it. So you can imagine the system that was there before M-Pesa came on the scene. Now the MTN has money banking in Ghana, but it's not moving forward. Okay, now true, it grew from 14% to 39%. It was a big jump. That's because they took the Kenyan model and started giving more power. The banks were holding it back because they were not giving power to the agents. But now the agents have gotten power, and they started adding these agents around the different areas, so more people could easily go to the agent and take out the money. You see, but they still got a long way to go. Now Nigeria, they just started yesterday. They don't even have mobile banking actually in Nigeria, so I don't, they're still doing the old model, and they got a long way to go. And that's one of the problems with having a country with that many goddamn people. See. So Ghana is trying. The young people there, they want the mobile banking. They see that there's some benefits in it. And Kenya, obviously, in Africa, everybody knows that Kenya is the model for when it comes to mobile banking. And this transaction grew the economy of Kenya by 680 billion shillings. Okay, 680 billion. So I want you to try to get an understanding that when you come to Africa and you pick in a country, you need to know how money gonna be transferred. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't want to be walking around with like having to carry a lot of money with you and then having to count money, or having to go to the bank and with big money and deposit it. Those days is gone in Kenya. Nowadays, you got an agent that's your local agent. You're like, I have an agent, a local agent. You just go to him with your money. He just, he becomes to know your regular. He becomes to memorize your phone number, and then you just get money and he just walk away. He knows your number. He dials in, deposits the money. You walk down the road. By the time you get like 100 yards away, you get a message. Beep, beep, beep. Money has been deposited. Okay, how much? The money I gave him. Exactly. Boom. At the time I deposited some money, I went across the road, and then I was like, hey, I didn't get the message. And I went and looked for, hey, I didn't get the message. And I went back to him, and he's like, I didn't get the message. He's like, oh, it's coming. It's just a delay. And sure enough, a few minutes later, the money had went through. So the money transaction business, of course, is technology, and it can only get better. It can get better with time. Now, the United States doesn't have this kind of money. Google tried the money wallet thing, and it never took off because banks have a strong hold in these first world countries. They got a serious stake, and they're not going to be letting people get involved in money banking to kind of boost their competitor banks. Everybody wants to control the whole thing. So this is why I say Kenya is better than Ghana, simply for the two reasons. The fact that the population in Kenya is really booming, and that creates more business opportunities. It's got higher GDP. It's got, the ease of doing business index in Ghana is 114. They're rated 114 out of 190. And Kenya is rated 61 out of 190. So the ease of doing business in Kenya is also better. And by the way, just for the point of view that it's cheaper to live in Kenya than it is to live in Ghana. So the housing prices in Ghana are higher, not by much, but just a note for you to, if you're renting, every little penny counts. Shilling counts. So these are things that you have to keep in mind when you move there. But then in Ghana, and especially in the outlying areas of Accra, they have like estates that they know regular Ghanaians can't afford, and then that's just for foreigners. And then when you go there, you kind of directed to that area because that's the kind of standard you're used to. Now from that standard, which they charge a lot of money because they know there's most Ghanaians won't come and foreigners got to live where they're used to. So you're gonna have, that's why you pay a higher price. In Kenya, it's different because they're still based on the fact that no British really come to live in Kenya, and they can make higher price estates and for higher income, Kenyans. Kenya, middle class in Kenya is, everybody knows, is growing at really high rate, and so they can fill these classy estates with tenants. So unlike in Ghana, because of the fact that agribusiness is the main business, it's not a lot of money in agribusiness. Like I told you, only one stomach, you can only eat one meal, like that. So the amount of success in a country that depends on agriculture as the main source is limited. You can't go see no super high-rise buildings in a country that's based on their main product is agriculture, not unless it's some cash crop like tea. Now Ghana has cocoa cash crop, but they've been having cocoa since the 1800s, and that market is solidly controlled by outside forces. I mean, I won't say even outside forces, by a conglomerate that has got a hold on it. So it's like you ain't gonna go out and grow no cocoa better than what they. And you ain't gonna get the market. And even if you threw some cocoa out and said I'm a coconut things and I'm gonna start selling my coconut, they gonna stop you, because that conglomerate owns the whole, from the growth of the cocoa to the transport to where it gets down to Nestle's chocolate. That whole thing is controlled. So if you just a one person, 2-3 person, you got some land, you start building, you ain't gonna get no market. They gonna refuse you. Yeah, this is not just Ghana. This is business everywhere. Business in America, business the world, global system. If they got the majority of the market of something, they're gonna try to keep it, and not let other people grow in that market. They either buy you out or destroy you, or get you rid of you some other way. So I'm saying that there's not a lot of major businesses that make a lot of money when it comes down to agriculture. 90% of the agriculture business is just done by small farmers and small tradesmen. So this is the issue with Ghana. So what happens now? A Black American comes into Ghana. He gets off the plane. He goes around. He sees the nice weather. He sees the nice ladies and everything. And then he gets in a little nice place. He starts settling down. And then either he gets bored or his money starts to get low, and he says, "I got to find a way to do some business to make some money to supplement myself." Many of blacks go there. They say, "Okay, if I can get enough money to eat, then the money I have coming from the States, or the money I have saved, it can survive me for 2 years, 4 years, or whatever." So you don't have that much opportunity, so you get like settled in one place, and then you come to find out that the main source of money is in food. So what do? You start getting involved in food, and then you find, since a lot of it, most of it is small, small business people that's doing this, like a mom and pop's shop, or even you competing with these people. They sell food on the roadside. They put food on a cart and walk down the road. Food, fruits, bananas, blah blah, buy. You see, you got a lot of competition from small business people who are hungry and try anything they can do. The lady put that basket on her head and she walking around with maize, with corn, and she's selling corn from her thing, So somebody start buying corn and you walking behind her with bananas, and they buy corn, the stomach can't eat but so much food, you see. So once they buy the corn, they satisfied. Bananas not today, maybe tomorrow, you see. So you have to be understanding how African markets work. You have to see how people think when it comes to making money. You got to see who can sell it. See, now agribusinesses don't take a lot of brains. Not like my business here. My business take a lot of brains. And I've seen Kenyans come looking at me. How can he do it? How can he make money like that? I got Kenyans, my own people, they kind of copy what I'm doing, but they can't do it without a lot of, specific knowledge. And this is where I'm able to move along and stay ahead of the game. Now, I even sell out my knowledge to people that are interested, you see. because you can't just be like the one that's gonna market it like that. Because when you start getting people in high places that start hating on you, then they come for your neck. So I've learned this over the 20 years of doing business in Africa and moving around and seeing how you have to be. Like I could not. I grew up business and I was in power. I was the one controlling everything. All money coming into that business was mine. You see, and shoot, I had to let it go. I had to back off from being in charge and let somebody else be in charge, a Kenyan, and then sit back and make a deal so that I can get something as he continued to grow the business. You see, because everything has to transfer into an African's hands. You see what I'm saying? You can't be no foreigner like that in certain businesses here and grow big, and you the one. Who's that runs the big giant supermarket chain? Oh, those is that's a Black American, you know. Okay, well, if you're like a grocery store chain like Nakumat here, we got Nakumat. It was owned by. In fact, that's a good example. That business, Nakumat, was a supermarket chain, big one, and they was in power. They was strong, and it was owned by an Indian guy, and he put his family, his sons, and something like that got involved, and it just grew beyond their imagination. I don't know, and a Kenyan opened up his own market, and it grew alongside of the Asians, and then because the Asian market had such a big monopoly, the good dude couldn't do anything right. Every time he tried to talk in the public eye, people was bashing him, and so that supermarket chain today went dead. Tried to transfer some of their stores to the Kenyan owned market. Now I don't know if they say Kenya owns the market, but we don't know what's on paper. But I'm just saying, what's the name of the market? Naivas. Naivas. It said to be owned by Kenyans, right? Yes. Yeah. So you see now everybody's happy because Naivas is took over the Nakumat stores, and Nakumat stores have gone down. So that's just business in Kenya, and you really got to understand it. And that's why I'm here. So when you guys have comments about doing major businesses in Kenya, okay, I'm here. Because I've been doing business with Kenyans since before I came to Kenya. So I knew how they think. And then when I've come here, I've learned, and doing business with Africans is really a trick. That's like a show in itself, but I don't think too many people in the chat would be really interested in it. But for those people that are really like already starting in business in Africa, dealing with Africans in business is something. It's a unique technique that you really got to deal with. Oh, good message. The biggest mall in Kenya is called the Two Rivers Mall by Chris Kaboko in East and Central Africa, owned by a Kenyan called Chris Karubi. Okay, I have not met Chris, but I have been to Two Rivers Mall several times. Unfortunately, my favorite place was Burger King. That's what drew me there in the first place. I saw what Chris is doing is he believes that Kenya has a lot of opportunity for Kenyans to build and grow. He also owned part of Uchumi Supermarket, as you know, and then he got off the board. And then as soon as he got off the board of the Uchumi Supermarket, the company went down. And he talked a lot about that and when he discussed some business. In fact, Chris Karubi, for people out there, can Google his story, because he's one of the richest men in Kenya, and he's very vocal and talks about himself and his business ideas. So he was recently really sick. There ain't nothing else that you don't need to go to no other ones. But yeah. Okay, so getting back on point, and just to review a bit, Ghana versus Kenya, I'm not going to be sitting here debating on which one is bigger, better, which one got this and which one got that. I'm saying, yeah, bigger and better, yes. I would say that, in my opinion, that blacks in America, when you're deciding to come to Africa for the first time and you have no clue, definitely you should pick Kenya over Ghana for the various reasons I have stuff what's going on here. And I really want to say, trust me, But just remember that if you do choose to go to Kenya, you can always go to Ghana if you don't like what you see. You see, and in fact, there are Ghanaians. I mean, people, blacks from Ghana come to Kenya, and they say every one of them say Kenya is better. You know, I'm saying even Dinah Amirs stated that the roads, the infrastructure, you know, I know he was only one person. He couldn't go far. He didn't spend that much time when he was here, and he didn't get a chance to go all around and see. But because I'm here, you got an opportunity to see that. And all I'm saying is that, you know, we really need one of you guys out there. You've been watching the show. So many of you guys are telling me you love the show, but I don't see you showing me some love. So yeah, do that. It really inspires me to give you great shows like this. Today's show is really going to be controversial. I know I'm going to get hit with a lot of negative comments when that guy, I forgot his name, comes on and start talking about it. Okay, how much time I got? Oh, I got some 10 minutes. Okay. I don't want to bring it out. So this is the paper that I had talked about when I did the research of Ghana versus Kenya. And basically, I'll go through it quickly, that the population of Kenya is more than double that of Ghana. The percentage of internet users is like 3 times more in Kenya. Like Kenya, I mean, I do my business with internet. So, you know, and internet is everywhere. So, you know, and in Ghana, no, it's not that big, popular yet. It's growing, but it's not anywhere near what Kenya has. Kenya's already rolled out 4G, and I'm sure they'll be one of the first African countries to go with 5G when the time comes. Okay, the literacy rate. Now, this is another point. And I know people are going to hate me for this, but I didn't write these statistics. Okay, when we talk about the literacy rate, 90% of Kenyans are literate. You know, I mean, that means they can read, they can write. I know in America we might think like, what's that? You know, because we got 100% supposedly literacy rate. When you talk to somebody, they can talk. Everybody you talk to can understand you. You see, but in Africa, there's a lot of people who don't speak English, or they can be bright, but they don't speak that much English. But in Ghana, over a third of the population don't know reading, don't know writing. They just know surviving. So when you talk about the population, size of the population, you got to chunk out like 1/3 of the people because they can't read a fucking message on a mobile phone. They don't know how to use a mobile phone. You see, they texting someone and how, you know what I'm saying? They got to do it in their own language, and they got like 250 languages in Ghana. So some parts of the country got one language and the other part got other language. So you see, like doing business is difficult. Now, the literacy rate is important because sometimes you're going to do business, you got to meet new people. And you get people that, you know, unfortunately, they're not that literate, and they got like superstitions. They got like, you know, traditional ways about them, and you got to deal with them extra traditional ways. The more illiterate the person is, I mean, you know, they got to really, you know, you got to really work with them. Then if they got like, you know, they deep into the Christianity, oh man, you might as well just pass them on by because they put the Christianity before they even start dealing with business. You know, or you do a business transaction with them or business deal, you move them up, and then they be looking at you like, hallelujah, thank Jesus for that. You know, I'm like, well, I'm the one who gave you all the information. How are you thanking Jesus? You know, and then you can't put down the religion because then they won't do business with you, or they're going to slow down greatly on the business they do with you. I'm just telling you the facts on the ground. Local language. Now you see they got this Twi thing and they got, you know, 18 million people speaking. 18 million. And I always tell a story about the brother that was going to come to Africa. He decided to go to Ghana, so he practices Swahili. He went to Swahili class. I went to Swahili classes at the African American Cultural Center with I forgot his name. Anyway, taking lessons in Swahili. And when he got good at Swahili, he was pretty proud. So when he got to the airport in Ghana, he started speaking Swahili, and they was like, "What you talking? We don't even understand you." And he was like, "You know, how can that be? You know." And then that's when they had to tell him at the airport, they don't speak Swahili here. You see, 150 million people in like 6-7 countries speak Swahili. It's the largest spoken African language. So dealing with business, you got to have some sort of way to communicate. And if it ain't English, then it's, you know, it's gonna be a local language. And you can't expand and go every place if you don't have a language that people can understand. And most 99%, not 99%, at like 80% of Kenyans gotta speak Swahili. It's taught in the schools. So better ways to communicate. You know, all of Tanzania is Swahili. Rwanda is Swahili. Congo is 35% Swahili. Uganda is Swahili. South Sudan, no, I don't know. I don't think it matters. They're not ready for business yet in South Sudan. Anyway, okay. Kevin Shelby, how are you, bro? I have a buddy from Tanzania. He thinks Tanzania is the best choice for visit to Africa. Do you like Tanzania? It's not a matter of not like Tanzania or like Tanzania now. I'm strictly here because of my experience, and so I'm talking from that. Now, I'm a black belt, so I can defend myself from the critics, but I'm not fearing you. Those people that think like I do, I don't either like the country or I don't like the country. That's a simple-minded person that can't see reason. You know, you're looking at me and I'm looking at you and I'm telling you, this ain't a matter of what I'm in likes and what I'm in don't like. It's a matter of which country is better for a Black American to come to if it's his first visit. The problem with Tanzania, from my personal experience, I've been to Tanzania twice. They don't speak a lot of English. They don't like to speak a lot of English. So wherever you go, you better learn Swahili. You understand? So I can drive down the street in Tanzania, have a flat tire, don't speak Swahili, I'm pretty much in trouble. I go to the bank, I want to make a transaction because they forced me to come to the bank to do the transaction. I go into I'll start talking to the teller in English, and guess what? She's like, she don't know no Swahili, you know? So, you know, mimi sema Kiswahili kidogo. And with you, why are you laughing at my Swahili? You know, but anyway, that's the problem with Tanzania. You know, anywhere I go in Kenya, when I tell them I speak English, they just automatically click over and speak English. They'll start off Swahili, but I do it all the time because they'd be like, "Sir," and then I'd be like, "Speak English." Ah, okay. Well, I'm looking for this paper, and then you see, it's like that. But go to Tanzania and try that. You know, they start speaking English. You don't know Swahili. You know, they will say you're not Swahili. You're some Swahili. You know, no, I don't know Swahili. Oh, you know what I'm saying? Which means they don't know how to speak English. So you gotta now find somebody that speaks English to translate for you. That's a problem. You know, you pick up a phone in Tanzania and it says Swahili, the buttons and everything, and the language is coming out Swahili, and you like, you know, that's, if you American, that's still gonna be your big problem in Tanzania. Tanzania got the president in Tanzania don't like Kenya as much as the other presidents, so they're trying to be separate from Kenya, and that transcends in how they feel about you in Tanzania if you're coming from Kenya. You see. So we got the high-speed railway, and they don't have theirs yet. You see, we got the big port that's been there for a couple centuries. They don't have that. They got Dar es Salaam, which I don't know if it's bigger than Mombasa or what, but all of the goods for Rwanda and Uganda come through Kenya and Tanzania. So this is my personal perspective on the issue. I've been in Nairobi doing business in Kenya for many years, and never has the language been a serious problem. the language barrier because everybody speaks English. They teach English in the schools from the grade 1 up to the form 4. So all from there to high school, you're gonna learn English if you're gonna pass to the next grade. So you see, everybody knows English. They may not like use it in their homes, but and with me, a lot of people, they like practicing. They see I'm a Black American. They love coming and talking English to me because it makes them feel good that they learned it in school and they can use it. Because they don't get to see that many, English speakers only. So I would. That's why I would pick Kenya over Tanzania. Okay. So to wrap up the show, this is old information, but it's the percentages have really not changed much. So that's why I want to say in Nairobi versus Accra. Accra has had in this picture. And they have more now probably, but you can get a point of what I'm saying is that in Accra you go there, major hotels are 18, and in Kenya the major hotels is over 30. Registered businesses in Accra on this scale is 9,000, and in Kenya is 18,000. Number of universities in Accra at that time was 9, maybe it's 10 now. And the number of universities in Kenya is 30. Probably far more now than then. The number of visitors in Ghana that travel into the country, even with all of the Black Americans, is less than 1 million. And in Kenya, it's almost 2 million visitors coming in, from the local visitors to the international visitors. Coming into the country because it's a tourism country. It has the wildlife reserve, so you get a lot of tourism is a big business in Kenya, by the way, and very healthy business to get into, by the way. And yeah, that's what I wanted to say about Kenya and Ghana. So again, when I'm talking on this issue, I hope that I get some people here to think about the decision on why do you think people go to Ghana so much, Blacks go to Ghana so much as opposed to going to Kenya? I'm saying that it's because Ghana has pushed for that to be. Now, the reason they push for Blacks to come to Ghana is suspicious to me. We have to remember that the first president of Ghana was cooled out of office with the help of the CIA, which has a station in Ghana, which is still there today. The CIA has got a heavy influence in Ghana. Now, I'm not saying that it's for Blacks, but maybe it's there because, they're surrounded by French countries, so they probably don't want French people advocates to go in there and try to change Ghana over to France, because then France would have a long stretch of countries in that region. Because if you look at the map, Ghana is just alone by itself. That's a westernized country. Surrounded with everybody else around them is Cameroon, and Togo is all French owned, French controlled, not French controlled, but French. They speak French. You see what I'm saying? So when you try to go across the border to the French countries, there's nothing like that. When you try to do business, transact business in Ghana with the French side, there's almost zero business between the countries that are around them. You understand what I'm saying? Now, Kenya is part of the East African community, so all of the countries there are all part of this community, and they all trade. You can walk to Ghana. You can walk to Uganda, no problem. You can go to Tanzania, no problem. You don't even need an ID or passport. You know what I'm saying? To travel, because you're just part of the East African community. Even now, Rwanda is part of that, and DRC wants to be the part of the East African community, and Kenya is pushing hard for that. They don't want to be part of the West African community. They want to be part of the East African community. Although they're in the middle, they can choose. And we think they're going to choose choose East Africa as opposed to West Africa. Definitely, because when the president of the DRC was inaugurated, it was only one African head of state that came to his inauguration, and guess who? It was the Kenyan president. So the next 2 days after that, the DRC president came and did an official visit to his first country, which was Kenya. So, these are important things that you might not think much about, but they do really affect the fact that when you start talking about business and the African Free Trade Agreement, Kenya and all that. Kenya was one of the forerunners. So was Ghana, and the Ghana needs it badly to see if they're going to be able to do trade with Togo and I think it's Cameroon on the other side of them, and these French countries, open up the borders there. But as far as the borders in Kenya is concerned, they've already been open. So they really won't have an impact between Ghana and Nairobi, Kenya, and Tanzania and Kenya. Ghana is more secure. Okay, I heard the issue about you get the Al-Shabaab thing here. Kenya is a big country and it got a lot of people. You might get a lot of these stories because they want to try to make Kenya look like it's unstable. But surely, if America is the number one terrorist country, the number one murder capital in the world, and people were walking around there not complaining, you can see that how really serious it is as far as security is concerned. So if you're talking about crime, if you got a country that doesn't have a lot of business and making a lot of money, you're gonna have less crime there. So in that respect, but I mean, it's not like you because Kenya got a lot of money and a lot of opportunity that there's like rampant business. The government is on it when it comes to policing the country. So I never had really a problem as far as security is concerned. I've been there 21 years. Now I was in Los Angeles, California before that, born and raised, and I really didn't have a problem there either. You see, although people were getting shot and murdered in the police, the story about the LAPD. I used to live down the street from the police department, Southwest Station. So, I mean, I grew up down the street, Southwest Station in Los Angeles. So, I don't think we should do that because a lot of that is just propaganda. Nobody has a way to do the statistics. Nobody really knows. They can just come up with a headline saying Kenya is unsafe, and then you're gonna get a lot of people go see the article or read the story, and then it really don't have no facts in there, or you don't have no real comparison, other facts. So thank you for that. And I know that if you're going to be attacking me on Ghana, just do in the comment section. No problem. I like to say that I don't have anything against Ghana. My whole point is Kenya is a better option to go to than Ghana. So if you agree with me or you disagree, this is only one show. But give me some hate money. Support me with some hate money and support me with some love money, to support the channel. I'm waiting for you guys out there. I'm going to put this in the description box. And I'm remembering to say, please, if you gotta come and watch this video, like and subscribe to the video. Okay. And there's one very, very important point. Very, very important. Like and subscribe to the channel. You guys out there, show me some love. And we'll continue this because more and more people are coming to me saying that they like what I'm doing. And I have a wealth of information. This channel is over 11 years old. Man, just been sitting there. If you go to my Facebook channel, Black Man's Guide to Moving to Modern Africa, you'll find that you can scroll down for over 6, 7, 8 years. Now, it's 8 years of information in that one group site. Because we've been doing Black Man's Guide to Moving is not new. It's been around waiting for you people. And now you're becoming to see that Africa should be an option. It's like these brothers in the United States, they talk about let's unite, let's buy land, let's do this, let's look for reparations, let's do all that shit ain't gonna work. The only solution that you got is moving to modern Africa, if you got the ability to do so. Because the things in the US just gonna get worse. They've been getting worse. You see? And Trump has maybe helped accelerate it, but now you see the economy is fucked up. And Trump was the one talking about the economy is the best it's ever been, and now they're reducing they're cutting they're cutting the interest rates. You're joking. They don't cut no interest rates when the country is okay. They're trying to keep that country afloat till Trump can go to elections. Because if it failed before he gets to elections, he one-term president. And that's the whole thing behind him saying everything is great, but it's not great. You see, many of you people in America, you saw the tax cut that he put out, and then you got shocked when you went for your tax return money, and it was like cut in half. You see, so you didn't really win. Only the higher classes won. They don't want to talk about that in the media, but we know. I used to get a check too. You know what I'm saying? I used to change my status in my taxes so I can get more money out, and then I realized that shit was a mistake. You know what I mean? I had 5 dependents, and I was getting that money, was not getting that money, and then came time to pay IRS, and boy, I had to pay instead of getting a check. So I went right to my job and told them, hey man, it's just me. Take that money out because I want to get a check. I don't want to be paying no IRS. So, we see that now, and we're going to see more. You're going to see more. So if you don't have an African plan, make sure you put an African plan together. Get your passport first thing. That's all you really need to do to start, because you can get your visa. I think in Ghana too. I don't know, but in Kenya, definitely you get your visa at the airport when you get here. So you don't need no visa to get on the airplane and get here. You just get here, then you get to Kenya, and then you at the airport they're gonna give you a 6 months visa because it's a tourist country, so they're not gonna deny you. So there you are. When you want to do business, they got e-citizen in Kenya. I did a show on that one where you can even get your things online. So without even having to come to the country, you can do it. You can get a business license in Kenya online. You see, if you're a foreigner, they got a section that says if you're a foreigner, go here, click here, and you go there, and it gives you the details. Put your passport number in there or your ID, and boom, they can give you a business license online. So before you even get here, you see. Now I understand if you live here and you're doing business, there's some regulations. But there's some loopholes to those regulations. And Kenya is big business, you know what I mean? It's not that they're trying to be harsh on Black Americans by ignoring them. It's the fact that not that many African Americans come here, for one, and number two, they do a lot of business with European countries. And you can't come and say, okay, we got this policy, but we're gonna let the African Americans slide. No, you got to do it for all Americans. They have to, because that's where the Constitution is written. For all foreigners, it's like this. For all Kenyan citizens, it's like this. So if you try to talk about, okay, if you're Black American and slide, you're gonna have trouble. But I think in my experience, everybody, when they see I'm a Black American, I get breaks. So I get love. So that's another. I don't know how it is in Ghana. I'm sure it's the same way in Ghana. But a lot of Black Americans is walking the streets of Accra with nothing to do, and that's a sad feeling. I know how that could be, So yeah, if you're in Ghana and Accra and you Black American, and you don't see no way, no lights at the end of the tunnel as far as living, and you see that it's a struggle. Come to Kenya. I guarantee you won't struggle. I guarantee you won't struggle. If you're struggling to make it in Ghana, and you come to Kenya, half of that struggle going to be over. So this is Ghana is the biggest gold producer in the world, but you see the economy is dependent on oil. Those markets are controlled long since. They're gold companies, and I don't know how to put it, but they got that locked down. So you come there and start digging for gold, you just be digging by yourself. If you try to take that gold and change it into money in Ghana, you ain't gonna get 2 nuggets past. Somebody gonna take that shit from you or stop you. So I don't think that we're gonna get a lot of understanding on this show. I'm 10 minutes over my normal time. But I just want to say like this, we just not, if those people that have invested in Ghana, you've invested in Ghana. Maybe you have decided you already live in Ghana. So when I'm talking to you like this, it hurts you. I understand. You know, you didn't have this information about Kenya when you made the decision. I understand, but don't get mad at me. Just take your time. You can always, because if you ain't been in Ghana that long, you can always change. If you're in Kenya and you see like Ghana is better for you, you can always go to Ghana. I'm just saying, from my experience, again, that's what the case is. So let's go. Peace for these Ghanaian people out there that's going to be talking to me in the comment section about why Ghana is okay. I didn't say it wasn't okay. I just said it's too small. It's surrounded by African countries, some Franco countries. They don't have a lot of business opportunities diversified in Ghana. Their main source of business is agriculture. The main source of business in Kenya is banking. So that's where I say that's what I'm talking about. Now, you going to tell me that that ain't true, then that's one thing. But if you going to sit up here and say, I mean, Ghana is better than Kenya for whatever reason, you know, now you're talking with a fool. You're talking foolishness. And that's not what I'm about. Okay, AKA America doesn't want Arabic to the name as a terrorist group. Al Shabaab, is that? Oh. So that can you know, I see you already can receive funding. So it was campaigning against Kenya in the UN, and finally Kenya has been nominated as a member of the UN. I don't know what that means. Every country in the world is basically a member of the UN. You know, I'm not all that familiar. I just know Gaddafi was a member of the UN, spoke at the UN, and then in less than a year and a half, he was dead after speaking in the UN. So I don't know how much favor you get by being a member of the UN. But you know, they're gonna try to find ways to put Kenya down. See the Garissa attacks, which I think were fake. But you're gonna see these things about Al Shabaab. That's just news. News is an enemy to black people. It's the number one enemy to black people is Western mass media, news, entertainment, and sports. It's the number one enemy. So you're gonna search on here for that kind of thing. It's gonna make you hold you back from coming to Kenya because you saw 5 articles talking about negative things in Africa. And I've been here on the ground, you know. So and I don't see like that. You know what I'm saying? We already know America, they got like 2,000 terrorist attacks in this year alone. 2,000. You know, the ones we see and read on the newspaper are one of the real big ones, and then they got a lot of little ones. And there's a website that is marking them, so you can see. I'm lying about the 2,000. They got a list on the website. I don't have it with me. You can go and they show you what happened, how many people was killed, how many people was injured, and what was the cause. And I mean, seriously, you cannot compare Kenya, or you cannot come and convince me that Kenya is unsafe compared to the United States. You know what I'm saying? So that's just jokes. Okay, guys, I'm gonna get out of here now. I'm here with my son. You wanted to hear me talk on the show today. Say hi. Where are you? Oh, there you are. Say hi. Hi. Okay. And I say that's what it's all about at the end of the day is family and being able to raise your family in a safe environment. Kenya's safe. And definitely being able to raise your family in a place where they got opportunities that they can make. So till the next time that we meet, this is Amin-Ra signing out from Mombasa. Till the next time we meet, don't forget to like and subscribe. Peace.